measures should be taken.
It's a very good step.
कोई लड़कों का harassment नहीं होगा, वो दोनों तरीके से बैलेंस, सारी लड़की एक से नहीं होती. Every person on the road.
Totally agree with it.
Anti Romeo Squad to keep at bay all such roadside Romeos and street ruffians who harass girls on a daily basis, who pass lewd comments and who actually go on to do eve teasing. Girl students in Lucknow and throughout UP welcoming the move, feeling happy, feeling satisfied that at least the government has now taken a step, a positive step towards ensuring their security and that they are not harassed.
हर एक लड़की harassment अपनी लाइफ में फेस करती है. So this is a very good step in order to, safeguard their dignity and all.
सारे लड़के एक से नहीं होते, लेकिन हाँ मैक्सिमम उनमें से होते हैं. तो उसकी वजह से मुझे लगता है कि बिल्कुल सही बनाया गया है कि कुछ लोग रुकेंगे तभी सब रुक पाएंगे.
यही देख रहे हो कि अब लड़का कोई बाहर भी खड़ा है तो भी उसको उठा के अंदर डाल दें, या कोई बदतमीज इंसान भी खड़ा है तो भी उसको नहीं.
Being in Delhi, I don't feel safe after 7 or 8 in the night. So yeah, few safety measures should be taken.
Guys are standing together. It doesn't mean that there is a sexual harassment going on over there.
Again, you can't generalize people. Okay, there might be some people who are not that good, like some guys who are posed, but others aren't.
The guy standing outside the college might be one of our friend. It might be a relative or a brother.
All that they're trying to say is that as long as they are achieving the target of reducing harassment or reducing abuse of women, it is a good thing. But if it goes on to become a thing, invasion of privacy, then it is not something that they would really welcome.
Well, the debate is raging on and we seem to have a sort of split, divided view right now on whether or not the Anti Romeo Squad that is being deployed in Uttar Pradesh to bring down eve teasing is actually the right idea. I want to point out to our audience that when this move was introduced, we had on this channel asked that the government, in the very least, define what it means by Romeo, thereby giving both the police who are policing these roads a definition of what they're looking for or whom they're looking for, and giving young people in Uttar Pradesh a clear guideline of what is allowed and what is not allowed. So is someone standing at a pawn shop, is that a Romeo? Someone talking to a young lady, is that a Romeo? Someone eve teasing, touching, harassing? How do we define what a Romeo is? And without that definition, does it make sense for the government to go ahead and act in this manner? That's the question we're asking this evening, and I'm throwing open the debate to you as our phone lines are open right now at the beginning of the show, and you can join this conversation. I also want to point out, of course, that the numbers as far as crime against women in Uttar Pradesh are concerned are appallingly bad. So it could be a desperate measure for a desperate situation. I want to know what you think. But in the meantime, on the show with me, Brinda Adige is an activist for women's rights, Priyanka Chaturvedi, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Ranjana Kumari, an advocate and the director of the Center for Social Research, a very strong voice when it comes to crime against women. Pawar is a senior IPS officer who's now retired, who brings in the police point of view. Rahul Easwar will join us through the course of this conversation. He's an author and an activist. Sudesh Verma is the spokesperson of the BJP. Mr. Verma, I will start with you. Thank you for joining us. We had, of course, on this show 2 days ago talked about how it would be very helpful if the government defined what it meant by Romeo. 2 days have passed right now. There is no definition still at hand. Do the police officers in Uttar Pradesh know what they are or who they are looking for without that definition, since we don't know what a Romeo is in any sort of law?
Yeah, if you go to Uttar Pradesh and ask anyone what a Romeo means, you would come to know what a Romeo is. They are roadside Romeos trying to find out opportunity to harass women of any age. Particularly, you'll find them around colleges and all that. It's not about Romeo and Juliet. Please don't confuse with that. It's a great romance, romantic tragedy that Shakespeare produced, where Romeo chased Juliet, It was a love, but it's not love. These people are looking for Juliet all the time. And if the girl says, I'm not a Juliet, the girl is going to be thrown acid on her face. She will be harassed, beaten, and these people will go away scot-free because the law will look the other side. So that is why this squad was promised, because we had seen that the law and order situation in the state was very bad. People could not come out. What to talk about girls in the night? Parents were fed up. You know that when we formulated this agenda for governance, we had kept so many thousands of boxes to get people's opinion. We travelled across the length and breadth of Uttar Pradesh to know what people wanted. And this was one of the things that people suggested. And we put it in our agenda. And now that we have been voted to power, we are implementing that and people are happy about that.
Okay.
There could be excesses about which you are talking, we agree. But these excesses cannot be justified. We are not justifying that. The Chief Minister has said, all of us are saying that even police cannot cross their Rubicon. They have to act within the law. There should not be any moral policing. There should not be any vigilantism.
But okay, I want to bring in Ranjana Kumari here. Ranjana Kumari has worked her entire career against crime against women. Ranjana, my concern again here is that while Mr. Sudesh Verma has very helpfully defined Romeo for us, it is not a definition in the letter of the law, which I think is still necessary. But where do you stand, Ranjana Kumari, on the Anti Romeo Squads?
Faye, I was with Sudesh Verma in the other program and I want to make some ground rule before we start this discussion, and that is just to let him know that I belong to UP. I'm connected with Varanasi and Etawah, 2 districts. I have worked in Ghazipur, Balia, Mirzapur, Devariya.
No,
I don't think he even knows those
background,
districts,
madam.
and he has ever been to those districts. Anyway, so he should not know. So please, so he will have to have the patience, because in the other program he didn't want to listen to anybody, only he was speaking. So I just now, and first of all, I want to say that crime against women
this is wrong.
has to
Something
be
happened in the other
understood
program. Why are you
that
bringing
it
it
is
here?
the criminals, the
You have to
people
judge
with...
me
Let her
for
finish,
how I
Mr.
have to
Verma, let her
myself
finish.
in this program, no.
Mr. Verma, let her
You cannot
finish.
bring the head of other program to this program.
Okay.
This is wrong.
Okay, Mr. Verma,
This
let
is
her
not
finish.
democratic.
All right. We take your point. This is a
If you
different
say something
program.
wrong
The rules
against
on
my
this
party,
program are
I'll
we
be
let
bound
each
to
other
speak.
finish our sentences before we interrupt. Ranjana Kumari, my question to you is, where do you stand on the Anti-Romeo Squads?
Ground rule. Listen, Faye, let me tell you, I think this is totally misunderstood idea. This is law and order situation in UP is bad, very bad. Safety and security is huge concern in UP, because UP falls only after Madhya Pradesh as a second state where highest number of crime against women is happening and has happened. So, and thirdly, I want to just say that this is not something where an untrained group of constabulary is put at large to do whatever they would want to do, and the way they will define a man and a woman together is anywhere found will be someone who is trying to sexually harass. First of all, there is nothing like eve teasing. It is sexual harassment, and they keep saying eve teasing, and thereby they want to really normalize and minimize the kind of aggression that is shown to women in all these events. Now the fourth and the last thing that I'm trying to say here is that it has to be a systemic approach to really address the safety and security for women. That would mean fast. You have to really decide how fast the police will reach the spot, what kind of action will be taken, what is the training for investigation, what kind of an investigation report will come, how are these people going to be punished. If there is no fast track system in the courts to really punish these people, you can call them Romeo, you can call them anything. And first of all, calling how audacious it is to call some people who are criminals, antisocial elements, who are harassing women, who are really inflicting violence and all kinds of torture on women, are being called Romeo. I mean, I don't understand what is the relationship. As I said in the earlier program, Lord Krishna had so many gopis.
No,
he had so much of epitome of love he was.
So in this issues right now, I don't want to lose time to actually discussing the use of the word Romeo. I'm actually concerned. I'm concerned, Ranjana Kumari, with the letter of the law.
My last point.
Yes.
We don't need to define it on television.
My last point is he's not letting me speak. My last point is create a system.
1 second, Mr. Verma.
You have to create a system.
No civilized person, no good student will go and stand up like a Romeo and harass people.
No,
let her finish, Mr. Verma. I'll come back to you for a rebuttal.
We know that you've won UP.
1 second.
We know that you've won UP. Many politicians won and they've won.
No, Ranjana Kumari, your last point. You were making a point. Ranjana Kumari, your last point.
Oblivion of history. So please, my last point. I was making, yes, my last point is that globally, look around in the cities. I'm just going to give you examples of many cities of the world where crime was much higher than what it is in UP, but people have created systems, presence of police, more women in police, arrest of the people who are real criminals, keeping track of a list of criminals, you know, and also beat policing where men and women police are posted together. You have to have quick response system, reach there fast so that you can create some kind of a, you know, and also the whole thing is about instilling some kind of a value in society. UP politicians are full of this kind of crime. UP, young political leaders are full of this kind of a crime. So first clean your own home, clean all these political people and create a culture of respect for dignity of women. So it has to go hand in hand, not giving absolute power to police to harass anybody, everybody, everywhere on the street and call them Romeos. I mean, I don't understand this is how law and order situation is established anywhere in the world, leave alone in the UP.
All right, Sudesh Verma, you can rebut.
What is your problem with the Romeo? Tell me. What is your problem with the word Romeo? Those people who are simple students, they are not being harassed. If they are being harassed, we are also saying it should not happen, isn't it? We are not justifying that. Even the Chief Minister has said that police should not be allowed to cross the line. Who says we don't respect love? But love doesn't mean that if someone doesn't love you, you are going to throw acid on them. We are against it. Acid physicalism. Do you know what kind of pains they are suffering from? Girls are not coming out of their houses because of this. And who are these people who are defending this?
Action against?
Go and talk to anyone in Uttar Pradesh, they will tell you.
People have you taken action
we are taking action against these people. We agree to what you are saying. We agree to what you are saying.
Right.
That there should be fast track.
Let's bring in other voices on the panel now. Let's bring in other voices on the panel now. I want to bring in. Yes. Let me bring in 1 second, Brinda. I want to bring in Priyanka Chaturvedi. Priyanka Chaturvedi.
They justified rape. They said that बच्चे गलतियां हो जाती है.
I agree with you. Sudesh Verma, I agree with you. I agree that people who make derogatory statements about women should be removed from political parties and should be removed from office. Priyanka Chaturvedi.
Go and ask him.
Priyanka Chaturvedi, what is the solution for the numbers of crime against women? And if Sudesh Verma is saying that this is the way to stop acid attacks, this is the way to stop rape, do you agree that this was the solution that was needed on the ground?
No, I'd just like to say a couple of things, and I'd hope Mr. Sudesh Verma does not interrupt me when I'm talking. I have been listening to everyone quite peacefully and calmly without interrupting. Firstly, everybody is for women's safety. Everyone wants equal spaces for women. We are 50% of this country's population. We also demand safety. We demand equal spaces and equal rights and equality in every field, whether it is open spaces, about going to colleges without any fear of, being eve-teased. Secondly, what I feel and what I fear as far as this anti-Romeo squads are concerned, that there's a very thin line which divides effective policing from moral policing, especially in a state like Uttar Pradesh. There's also a very thin line from constitutional framework to becoming an extra constitutional authority in itself, where it's open for misuse. We have been hearing constantly for past 3 days. I know 3 days is too short a time to judge something like this, but the incidents that have come forward have been extremely discouraging, where even the cops who are, part of the Romeo squad or anti-Romeo squad are also saying that women cannot have boyfriends, women cannot be hanging around late in the evening, and it becomes our responsibility to ensure that they are safe. That is not how it works. It's about giving women that feeling that they are safe when they are in an environment, rather than this overbearing structure that stares at them in their face whenever they're stepping out, and this judgmental issue that we also face when women are stepping out. So there have been incidents which have been reported, and it is a trend which you would see even Mr. Yogi Adityanath's Yuva Vahini, or whichever Vahini that he used to have when he was not the Chief Minister, have also come forward and said they would volunteer for something like this. So how do you, decide a framework? How do you allot responsibility? And when does this constitutional framework become extra constitutional authority in itself is something we must guard ourselves against. Also, I want to go back to Operation Majnu, which was carried out in 2005. again happened in Uttar Pradesh. It became a huge failure, which the boys were being targeted, and it, again, like I said, it becomes an extra constitutional power. So it became a tool to harass even men who were just hanging around or who were just stepping out of their homes. Everyone was questioned. An incident of 900 calls being made to boys who were standing outside colleges or were just seen all by themselves were made in the past 2 days, where parents have also objected to something like this. So when you start judging people, start judging why they are outside, it's something that, you know, becomes a scary issue and something which needs to be tackled.
Let me bring in YC Pawar on this. All right. Let me bring in YC Pawar. Do you believe, YC Pawar, that the police will in this point misuse the power that has been given to them, or perhaps since they've been left to their own definitions of what they believe is socially acceptable, that there will be a grey area left to the discretion of each individual police officer?
I am at loss to find out why only in this particular act or roadside Romeo act there is apprehension about police misbehavior. There are any number of acts in this country. They are being implemented by the same constabulary, by the same people. Now why only even atrocities on women is also dealt with by the same people? Now why we have an apprehension that there will be this thing? Now presuming that the apprehension is true, find out the concrete cases wherein they have exceeded their rights, wherein there is a possibility right in the beginning, whenever any law is to be implemented, sometimes some confusion will prevail upon, but later on it will subside. Till then we have to wait, watch, and if there are some errant policemen, let us catch them, put them in front of the
Mr.
senior
Pawar,
officers.
do you think it would have been helpful if the government had actually defined what it means by Romeo?
See, as far as I am concerned, the definition should be very clear. Anyone who loiters in the streets for no reason, having no valid reason, it is onus lies on him to explain as to why he is standing. Now, mere inquiry with somebody by a police does not amount to harassment. Now, you must have observed in Mumbai, while conducting nakabandis, many citizens, car riders, they are stopped. If they are not found smelling alcohol, they are allowed to go.
So Mr. Pawar, so if someone is walking down the street, two young men are walking down the street.
Loitering, I said.
Loitering, okay. So they are standing at the street corner.
Without any reason, if they are standing, they ought to have to explain as to what is the purpose.
Maybe they have a day off, they're just talking.
They should go to the gardens, they should go for some entertainment
But they've also been picked up from the gardens.
Road is a public... No, in the garden, if they are picked up from the garden...
That is why
if they are sitting singly...
No, see, this is the garden. We're looking at the footage right now, so it's on your screen. This is the garden. They've been questioned in the garden. They've been removed from the gardens.
Mere questioning does not amount to any harassment.
Okay.
You are throwing yourself open for questioning.
No, so my point is, do we have a definition of what these police officers are looking for when they go out? Mr. Sudesh Verma, do we have a definition of what these police officers are looking for when they go out? Are they looking for people loitering, standing by themselves, standing with women?
You see, Faye,
yes.
Faye, you see, the issue is, we should not try to judge what is happening in Uttar Pradesh by the standards of metros like Delhi or Mumbai. You see, desperate situation in Uttar Pradesh, and that is why we came out with this promise of Anti Romeo Squad. And this is going to be a permanent feature. They are going to be well trained. They are going to understand their responsibilities. If excesses have happened, we are not condoning it. We understand the responsibility. But police is doing it. There is no vigilantism. There is no other group claiming to be moral police. Even the Chief Minister has said no group would be allowed. He has asked the police to act against them. If anyone says that they are going to implement using this as a pretext, no. The police is going to do that. I agree completely with Ranjana Kumari ji that there should be fast track court for speedy trial, because we need to get to conclusion. That is one strong way. But to throw the baby out with the bathwater is not something what is expected from people who think about society. Uttar Pradesh is in a very bad shape.
I have a very quick question for you.
We have just taken one measure and we'll correct it if there is something wrong. But 3 days is not something that you start shouting, because if you are looking for alibi to attack our government, you are going against the mandate of people. People in Uttar Pradesh are very happy. So there are two standards.
Right.
One judgment by you people, and the other by people of Uttar Pradesh.
By people of Uttar Pradesh. That's a very fair point. Let me bring in Brinda Adige here. Brinda Adige is a women's activist. Brinda, this is the truth. The truth is that There have been 4,732 cases of reported murder in UP. There have been 3,025 total rape cases, and this is in 2015, reported in UP. Gang rapes of 458, custodial rapes of 91, acid attacks, molestation, dowry deaths, grievous hurt, in-law harassment. It runs into the thousands. UP is a especially bad case, Brinda. But I'm also concerned about the fact that since Mr. Sudesh Verma said that these sort of roadside Romeos eventually turn into acid attack perpetrators, acid is still available in UP for 25 rupees. So, Brinda, in your mind, do you believe that the Anti Romeo Squad is the solution?
The Anti Romeo Squad is absolutely not the solution. I also have a problem with the nomenclature because Romeo sounds too simple and it's also too much into the fantasy world. We could have always called it, if they really were serious about it, call it as the anti-street harassment squad. Fair enough for that. With all the statistics and numbers, Faye, that you presented, it is a clear classic case of a systemic failure. A failure on the part of the politicians in the past and a failure on the part of the bureaucracy as well as the system. Why has the police not been able to apprehend the so-called perpetrators, the accused and the culprits? Most of the time we hear that these people are absconding and missing. We have seen on your TV show itself that there are people who are wanted for all kinds of harassment, especially sexual and rape, by these people who are in positions of power, and that is why these numbers are going up. Giving such a simple reason that the statistics are high and acid is available, and that is why an Anti-Romeo Squad does not sound really very intelligent, and certainly will not hope to curb any kind of a problem. Why is acid available? That is a different law, and there is a system that needs to be put into place, and monitoring has to be stringent. Why isn't the police doing this? Why are the shopkeepers let off? Why would the judiciary not look at these cases as cases that require immediate precedent verdicts? Street harassment is very high. I agree that probably these will turn to being rapists and acid attacks, but the word Romeo smells, stinks, reeks of nothing less than moral policing. Police are a law enforcement agency, and there are legislations, there are amended IPCs, and this is what the police has to do: enforce the law as per the legislations, and constitutional entitlement of safety be extended to the women, which also includes other departments and wings of the government. The government simply cannot have an eyewash and say, here is an anti-Romeo law and this is what we are going to do, because in a nation like ours, we are a democratic country.
Let me just one second. I want to bring in Ranjana Kumari on this one point. Ranjana Kumari, respond to what Sudesh Verma said. One second, sir. One second. Ranjana Kumari, Sudesh Verma said that the opinions of those of us in Mumbai and Delhi and Bangalore cannot be equated to the people of Uttar Pradesh who voted for the Anti-Romeo Squad and are now happy about it. So, Ranjana, UP is a special case. Is it true that the people of Uttar Pradesh are happy about this and this is what they voted for?
Well, that's why that's why I made the ground rule, because I work in UP, I belong to UP, and I know UP in and out more than anybody who's claiming to be knowing UP. So let me tell you, the second point is that the kind of crime that you just listed out from UP, will this kind of a people, that is constabulary group of 3-4 constables moving from park to college to school, will they be able to stop dowry burnings, which is highest in UP? Will they be able to stop? Even today, rape happened and the girl was made to drink acid, and she's in hospital, and I appreciate the Chief Minister. This is the first ever the Chief Minister went to see the girl. So I would say that this is something, will they be able to stop? Will they be able to stop all the rape which happens by the known people, by the politicians, by the political activists, and by all kinds of neighbors, relatives, uncles, what so-called, all those people? 92% rape, according to Government of India data, happens by the known people, neighbors and family members. Will they be able to stop all that? Will they be able to stop any kind of other crime that is happening against women just by moving around on the road and creating a kind of fear psychosis, and then just trying to, haul up anybody and everybody, beat up, ask them to, what kind of punishment, tell me, is that, catch your ears and do uthak baithak? Is this a punishment? I mean, is it a joke? Are we in a society which is going to seriously enforce law and order, or are we in a society which is just doing gimmickry? I mean, isn't this that you catch someone, give them 2 dandas and tell them
yes,
to do
okay, Sudesh Verma, respond to that. Are we trivializing the issue?
Is this what will control law and order situation in UP?
You see what Ranjana ji is saying, I have already condemned. We do not believe in that. She is parroting something which we have already condemned. So that doesn't stand. You see, if you do something at one place or through one way, it doesn't mean that there are various other ways that should not be tackled. Law and order situation has to be tackled at all the level. Now, I do not agree with Brinda that it is moral policing. It is not. We are talking about crime against women which happen in broad daylight and people walk away because people don't feel empowered. These are the gundas of society being patronized by politicians till day. No common person, no common boy or girl will indulge in such act. Even in college, they want to get themselves educated. So these gundas are backing up politicians and they do it.
Anti-Romeo.
So we are against that. There is no moral policing involved. We will not allow that. We have said that.
You have an IPC for it.
Kindly don't try to put blame on us for something we are not doing. So that is what the police will implement. No.
You cannot have a squad, sir, which does not clearly spell out a definition.
People have voted us for this agenda.
Within which ambit the police can work.
Agenda. We don't need guidance from you.
What about sexual harassment in
offices,
workplace?
And anybody can interpret it however they want.
There are
and police is an authority with a lot of power.
People of Uttar Pradesh have given a mandate against gundaism of the parties that were ruling Uttar Pradesh.
You strengthen your existing system. You make it effective.
YC Pawar, do you believe that picking up these boys at the loitering at the corner of streets, which you said is the definition of Romeos, will bring down the crime rates? Will bring down the harassment, the rapes, the acid attacks in Uttar Pradesh?
It will be one of the steps taken towards reducing the crime. Let us understand that every serious crime gets generated out of a minor crime first of that nature, and then slowly a street gunda becomes a mafia, a gangster. It is not one overnight somebody becomes mafia. Like that, this action will definitely put some fear of law in the minds of people, those who are trying to do it. There might be some hardened criminals who may not be able to who may not be stopped right now, but we know, for your information, no crime can be given a full stop. Crime shall continue so long the society is in existence.
So do you believe Uttak Baitak that we are seeing on our screen right now, is that the solution?
Uttak Baitak, see, these are, I don't know why Uttak Baitak is required, but sometimes there is a fantasy among the police also.
What kind of punishment is that?
Please listen, now I have not interfered anywhere. If I am trying to make a point, listen to me and then offer your comments.
No,
I am giving my opinion.
Go ahead,
you can give your opinion, you are at liberty.
Go ahead.
Now, point is that Uttak Baitak, why they are doing it and why they are not being taken cognizance. Sometimes I am telling you very frankly, I was part of the police force for a quite long time, work in a very senior position. Point is that there are certain conceptions in the police also. If yes, this method might work. Now I remember while I was a probationer, double seat cycle was taken very seriously. So Havaldars used to remove the wall of the cycle. It is not defined anywhere in the law. It was only just to put the fear of law in the minds of those people who are on the verge of committing serious crime. Like this is also a step towards that. If somebody takes that, it's a very offensive. If somebody has a problem with the definition of Romeo, it can be, government can be requested that you define the Romeo. Now, if 10 people are asked to write down the definition of Romeo, there will be 10 different versions of that definition of Romeo.
Right. I have two people on the phone line, after which I'll go to Priyanka Chaturvedi. I know you've been waiting for a while. Priyanka, I'll come straight to you after this. Deepak is on the phone line from Gurgaon. Deepak, go ahead. We can hear you.
Hi, Faye. How are you, dear?
Good evening.
Okay. Faye, I have full faith in what the Chief Minister is doing, but I think that we should stick on the program only to the eavesdropping part of it, because that is where Operation Romeo is concentrated. So we should not be talking about things which are not envisaged in this part of the drive, you see. So this is just a small part of the whole ecosystem of the law, right? So we should only be concentrating on the Romeo part of it. And I'm strongly against what Mr. Y.P. Pawar has just said, that you see, somewhere down the line, anybody who gets out of the house, two guys who are getting out of the house, they're young, they might be feeling, you see, want to have a change, they just get out, just might be talking to each other, have a group meeting. Why are they considered as, you see, loiterers, or for that matter, somebody who's out to eat these women? I mean, that is...
They are not considered like that. What I was trying to make out a point, that anyone who is there is liable for question. If he is asked question, if he gives a valid explanation, the police will not pursue the matter. It's all, that is the full stop there. I'm not saying that he is treated as a criminal.
Doesn't that open up all normal citizens to questioning, random questioning by the police, Mr. Pawar?
But without that, police do not know who is the criminal, who is not the criminal.
Corruption.
The question is a part of the police action.
What about Mr. Pawar, corruption in the police?
Police, I have been shouting against corruption throughout my life. I have dismissed at least 10 people for corruption.
Try to take some money, give them. You know UP.
I have been advocating against the corruption very strongly in the media. If you have heard my voice on the media
so I think the question is,
Mr.
Pawar, I think the question is, does this open it up now? And we have enough cases of police taking 50 rupees, 100 rupees. Sometimes my mind, does it open it up for that kind of corruption?
It is there.
Ki utha ke le lenge, 50 rupees de do.
But that happens in the traffic offences. Traffic constable takes. Now point is that if that is so, should we stop the policing?
So you are accepting
and should we withdraw the police force because they are
box.
Okay.
We have to go with that.
Okay, there is a possibility.
Keep the checks and balances.
You are saying there is a possibility.
We can't say that police force should be condemned totally and removed.
Priyanka Chaturvedi, go ahead.
Okay, so firstly, when we come up with this blanket statement that they have got votes because of the Anti Romeo Squad promise, would be a bit of a far-fetched assumption, because when they talk about talking about law and order, that yes, we perhaps be able to bring in better law and order and ensure that law and order is well controlled by the government and the administration is on the dot as far as safety and security of women is concerned, or for any crimes taking place in Uttar Pradesh is concerned. Maybe that was what the vote was for. So that is point one. When we talk about safety and creating safety structures for women, we need to also have a framework. You have a police force which has 55% vacancies. You do not have many women in the police force. We do not talk about gender sensitization or making it police sensitization. When someone approaches them with a problem, we talk about that. We haven't heard the UP government saying that they're going to ensure that there are CCTV cameras in place so that any such kind of harassment, instead of having a squad in place, there is any such harassment which is noted or recorded in the CCTV is actioned upon. So when we talk about law and order becoming a law unto itself, we have many such examples. If you look at the encounters that used to happen in Maharashtra and Gujarat, we saw many cops who took law and order in their own hands and started using that as a source of making money. Then there is also a case of, where we talk about women's safety and security. It was tried out even in Gujarat, but again it did not, serve its purpose. So is it serving its purpose? Is it something that is the most important change that needs to be effected as far as ensuring that women feel safer? You can talk about CCTVs, you can talk about filling up these vacancies that exist, we can talk about gender sensitization and sending out a strong message that if any such incident is recorded, we will ensure swift justice is done and people are brought to book. So these are many ways where you can send out a positive message where you are in total control. But when you send out this message that anyone stepping out of the house is perhaps someone who's out there to tease a woman, is sending out a very wrong message. You're not even encouraging more exchanges between the genders.
Who is saying that, Priyanka?
Trying to clamp that
Who is
down,
saying
which
that?
is going to be more harmful in the long run.
Sudesh Verma?
No, I didn't say you. I did not
Nobody
even
is
once
saying
talk
that.
about you, Mr. Verma. You do not
Nobody
need to
is
get so
saying that.
defensive
See,
every
I
time
agree with
we
what
come up with
Priyanka is
suggestions
saying.
or ideas.
I agree with
You do
what
not need
Priyanka
to
is
get so
saying.
defensive.
You see, Faye,
I wasn't even talking about you.
I agree with what Priyanka is saying. I agree with what Priyanka is saying, but she would have done better had she conveyed the same to Akhilesh
Thank
Yadav,
God.
on whose sender
Thank God
the Congress
something is
latched
making
on
sense to
in
you.
an attempt to grab power.
Okay,
They
so
didn't have this
let's
vision.
accept.
But you are
I
giving
think
us- you are giving
we
us
all
all these
agree.
things and welcome.
We all agree on two things. Sudesh Verma,
don't
we
say
all
this is
agree
moral
on two
policing.
things, that UP is a
This is
desperate
not moral
situation that
policing.
requires
If
desperate
you want to
measures.
graduate to a liberal society, if you want to graduate to a liberal society, women have to be given safety. Without giving safety to women, you cannot graduate to a liberal modern society.
I'm glad we have
And
a
the women
political
have
class
been
that's
kept
acknowledging
locked
the
inside
need
houses
for
because they
women's
cannot come out.
safety.
Safety environment.
I'm glad we have a political class that's acknowledging the need for women's safety, but the question that we're asking right now is an Anti Romeo Squad the answer to all of our problems? Aussie is on the phone line from Mumbai. Aussie, go ahead, and then I'll go to Brinda Adige, who's had her hand up for a while.
It's one of the answers. I'm not saying that we have found the key. No, we have not found the key. It's not Khulja Sim Sim for law and order situation. But yes, it is one of the ways.
One of the ways,
people are
all right.
liking it.
Aussie, if you can hear me, go ahead.
Yeah.
We are saying it is not the way.
Hello.
Hello, go ahead. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Surprised at the one because you see, my voice is like back to me.
Okay, we'll try and get back to you then. Brinda Adige, there are two things that I'm happy about. One is that we have a state government that is acknowledging the problem. We've had trouble, Brinda, getting people to acknowledge the problem up till now. We have a state government that acknowledges the fact that safety for women is an issue and it requires attention. And I think that by itself is a win. Secondly, we do not have a definition for Romeo, which I still encourage the state government to go out and legally define. Let's not leave it to every corner street, because even if we did it on this show right now, every member of this panel would have a different definition of Romeo. But I want to understand from you, Brinda, and I will ask everybody else on this panel, what do you think, as a recommendation to the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, what do you think needs to be done to actually solve the problem, along with, or if not with, the Anti Romeo Squad? How can we perfect it? How can we improve it? Do you think it needs to be removed altogether?
The name, the nomenclature Anti-Romeo should be removed, because the Romeo has been too fantasized in the films, in media and everywhere. It should talk of street harassment. Teasing is also too simple and we cannot accept it.
We understand street harassment.
We are happy that they have acknowledged that UP has a problem and there is a definition. So the Anti-Romeo Squad could probably start giving the ideas to the police, who have always been high-handed, a legitimacy to bully people. And that is something we cannot allow in our country, no matter how desperate the situation in UP is. We have definitions for these kind of acts by men, violence against women, and that should be utilized with the present available legislations as well as the systems and nomenclature that is there. Anti-Romeo Squad will allow too much room for bullying, too much room for high-handedness, and people will be going around again making complaints to the police. And like Priyanka said, these structures need to be strengthened and the police need to become effective, rather than giving reasons every time a woman comes and complains that the person is missing, that these are things you don't talk about, this you should not talk about, don't come to the police station. That is the attitude that needs to be removed completely if the CM is really serious about looking at safety and security for women. The nomenclature does not sound
So Brinda, I have just one question for you.
Like
if it is changed into an anti-street harassment squad, Will that stop the police then from misusing it? Will it then change any of the things that you are concerned about if the nomenclature is different? Also, second question, Brinda, if everybody in UP colloquially understands what Romeo is, will anti-street harassment squad then in some way prevent people from understanding the problem?
That is something that probably Ranjana will be able to talk about, but even if Romeo could be in the brackets, I don't mind. We are talking of legalities, we are talking of what section of the IPC can be enforced in these matters, rather than warning, rather than, you know, using this moral policing, understanding, because that is something that is always a complaint across India with police, and we know that UP is no different. And there are legislations. You can have IPC, there's 354 A, B, C, D, and one of them can always be registered. Here, it does not talk of any kind of registration of complaints that can be made vis-a-vis the anti-Romeo squad.
Okay, no, I want to bring in Ranjana Kumari here. Ranjana, what are your suggestions right now? And Sudesh Verma is listening. I'm sure Sudesh will be kind enough to carry suggestions to the UP government. Ranjana, what are your suggestions to the UP Chief Minister at this point? How can the anti-Romeo squad, which in its intent might be well placed, how can the anti-Romeo squad actually work towards safety for women?
Well, Faith, the serious issue is crime against women in UP.
Yes.
And also calling them Romeos is in a way a derogatory way of explaining or talking about the boys and men who are on the street. But you are not looking at men and boys in the whole ecosystem who are creating all kinds of trouble for women, whether it is violence against women at home or... I don't agree with that by just hauling up a few boys standing here and there is going to solve the problem. Systemic change has to come. A lot of suggestions have come in this discussion. Secondly, you have to create a culture of respect for dignity of women in UP. You know, the UP, because of its political class, because of the way UP has gone in terms of, wrongly administered, weak administration, I think this UP has become a totally chaotic state where women are the target, they are sexualized, they are the target of all kinds of, sexual, all these dance culture in elections, when they made girls to dance to attract the crowd.
What's the solution, Rajna?
All kinds of things that UP people do is totally unacceptable. My solution is that you have to first streamline the police force, get more women in the police force, and let the police force work for it. Let the senior, all these constables, even if they will report to the senior people, nobody is listening. Within the police, there is a serious hierarchy in UP. That do you think all these constable people who are going, are they going to really listen? They will never listen to these people who are at the local level. So that hierarchy has to be broken. More sensitization. You need more beat policing. You need connect between the police and the community. You do need all kinds of training of these police personnel, and also convey the message that I am here administering the state in the strongest possible manner. No nonsense will be tolerated. If any kind of thing happens against the women, then we will not tolerate. Second, that's the messaging.
One second.
And third thing is stop selling of acid. Will you?
Yes.
Just one single thing. Stop selling of acid off the counter in UP. Anywhere you can go and buy acid today in UP.
Yes.
I can say it with some challenge. You come with me to Varanasi, the district where I was born and brought up. You come to me to Varanasi. I'll show you how you can buy acid just like that. You can do everything possible in UP. Change the culture. Respect women. Start respecting women in UP. That's the first and just the very basic thing you can do.
All right. Sudesh Verma, this is an excellent suggestion. Acid is available for 25 rupees all over UP and Delhi.
Yeah,
can the government make that change, please? Yes, Mr. Verma, go ahead.
I would like to comment on what Ranjana ji has said. Ranjana ji, while creating social awareness is a long-term job, police we have got is what we have. We didn't have time to train them, but trust us that short-term measures, long-term measures, everything is being
so
planned.
You let them lose.
And this debate also is going to create awareness about the need for these people not to indulge in such acts. That vigilantism which you are talking, moral policing, we don't agree with that.
So
You do
Sudesh
not
Verma,
subscribe.
can you put out?
Cannot condone it.
Sudesh Verma, I think that I think it's fantastic. One second.
Chief Minister himself has said that.
Sudesh Verma, you're right about the fact that this debate alone right now, this show will reach out to people. Can you put out right now in public service the list of things that young men should not be doing in Uttar Pradesh at this point if they do not want to attract the Anti Romeo Squad? Put out a list of things that young men should not be doing.
I'm sure that someone from police is Pawar can do it much better because there is a police manual for that. But trust me, we know what we are talking. Everybody in Uttar Pradesh know what we are talking. There is nothing to take umbrage at the word Romeo.
No. So Mr. Pawar, I'll ask Mr. Pawar as well. But Mr. Pawar is former IPS Mumbai. He's former IPS in Maharashtra. He's not UP police. I want to understand, when you say Anti-Romeo Squad, I want to understand, and purely in public service, if there's someone watching who lives in Noida, for example, what is he not supposed to be doing? Can we quantify for the people who are watching? Mr. Verma, my question was to you.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes.
You're asking me?
Yes, I am.
You see, to any common man in Uttar Pradesh, it will appear that if you're loitering around in the college without any work, if you don't even have a sister inside the women's college, you are still going there looking for opportunities to harass women. That is how you are termed the Romeo. You are moving in the street. It's not that when you are going in for an evening walk, no. But police can always ask you. You give explanation. That purpose is served. If police does excesses, we are also against them. But we are against crime. We are talking of crime. It's no less than that.
Okay. Mr. YC Pawar, same question. What should a young man in UP, Noida, Meerut, all of these places, what should they be doing? Or what should they not be doing if they don't want to attract the Anti-Romeo Squad?
See, what should they not do, what they should do is altogether a point of dispute. Each one of us have a different perception. Point is very simple. That they should not act, they should not behave in a manner in which a police can suspect that this man is not doing his legitimate job, or he is not going for doing something legitimate. He is up to some mischief.
Can you, okay, as a former police officer, can you define to us, if you were today on duty, in what cases would you suspect that this person is up to no good?
Any person who is questioned and he does not explain as to what is his purpose. He is a suspect. He has to be further taken for further interrogation. I don't have any doubts, because liberty does not mean that you can roam around for no reason. If you have a reason, yes, you explain it. What is harm in explaining it, police? Police are not the enemies of the people. They are also friends. Now, if some policeman, as a stray example, commits something wrong, that does not haul up entire police force. Let us not condemn the force. Okay. Because of the force, we are able to move in this
Ranjana also pointed out, and I want to very quickly ask you this. Ranjana pointed out that it would be very helpful to increase the number of women in the police force in UP, to train the police force in UP, to empower the police force in UP. Do you agree that that is something that should be done immediately?
Yeah, I totally agree, and that has to be done.
That has to be done.
And that is being done, but the resources are limited, therefore it takes time.
Priyanka Chaturvedi, I don't have too much time, but this is what we've arrived at. Standing around, loitering without purpose and without the ability to explain what you're doing there amounts to suspicion on the part of the police, which might then result in the young man being picked up.
No, it's not just suspicion, it's also ending up judging the man for the reason why he is around there. Now, let me just cite an example to you. Even in Mumbai colleges, there could be ex-students who prefer eating out there or hanging around there. Does that make them, Romeos or someone who's out there to tease the other women students who are in the college or who are part of the college? So being judgmental is not the way to go about it, or deciding that, oh, because you're hanging around here to eat food or to have tea, is perhaps you are here for a worse off reason, is to trouble a woman. That is not how it is done.
But eating food and having tea are purposes.
Of course, the boys need to be told that this
purposes.
is something which was not acceptable. Not acceptable, or passing comments, lewd comments or gestures are absolutely unacceptable. So these are a few things, and of course making women feel safer and not making them feel the target of security would also perhaps make it more easier and safer for women to breathe when they're out there in open spaces. So that is something that needs to be kept in mind.
All right, I have a couple of people on the phone line. I want to very quickly take these calls before closing comments. Kaustubh is on the phone line from Kolkata. Kaustubh, go ahead. We can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, hello everyone. I've got a very gentle point to make, that I think our nation is growing, and we have probably, of course, we are a young nation, but very strong sensibilities. Here, the police and the way they've been acting since the whole thing, it's very regressive and arbitrary. I think a lot of modern policing is done than real police work. So please, there's a lot of taxpayer money out there. Do justice to your roles. Don't be so regressive. I mean, it's a simple profiling of men in such a way. I think that is like every opportunity seeking out and calling men misogynists, and I don't think it's right.
Okay.
I think it's very unproductive to the balance of society that we are trying to maintain. So I think, a gentle reminder should be with the law enforcement agencies to, handle, because the intention
Right. That's a good point. If we are right now dedicating police force, and the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh has been very clear about the fact that the Anti Romeo Squads will only be of real police officers, not of ordinary citizens. These are police constables and police officers. Then in that case, are we pulling away possible constabulary who should be preventing other crimes, actual serious crime against women? You disagree?
I disagree.
Mr. Pawar?
I disagree, because mere presence of the police force in the streets does help in curbing the crime and controlling the crime. Right. It is not only the Anti Romeo Squad purpose is met, but the other purposes can also be met. By this is one of the methodology by which a police presence is felt in the streets.
All right, so you're saying increasing the number of police people on the street, whether through the Anti Romeo Squad or anything else, will bring down the crime. Sudesh Verma, standing, loitering without purpose, is that locked down then as the final answer of a definition of a Romeo?
Not exactly that. There are more to it, and the person on the spot knows it well, how you are behaving. You cannot state jacket into a definition, isn't it? The person who is there, vigilant, they know that what a person is doing. Like Priyanka was saying, if someone, ex-student is going and having tea or food, it doesn't matter at all. You're going to the purpose. Even if you're going to meet someone. But when you indulge, into act of hooliganism,
this is not acceptable,
and you want the girl to follow you, the girl is not responding.
All right, so I have to now close this debate because we've run out of time. But this is very interesting. Members of this panel, we ran a Twitter poll asking if the Anti Romeo Squad should be implemented in other cities. Is this something that we need in other cities as well? And here is the answer we received. 75% voted yes. They said that the Anti Romeo Squad should be available in other cities and other states as well. It is a good idea. That is what the general view has been. To our viewers, if you live in Noida, for example, or if you live in any of the cities in Uttar Pradesh, don't leave your house if you're a young man without purpose. If you cannot explain to the police what you can and cannot do, don't be standing around, don't be loitering without purpose. You will attract attention from the Anti Romeo Squad. That's unfortunately as far as we've gotten in terms of definition. But two things that we would really appreciate the government of Uttar Pradesh to do is to actually put down in legal terminology what you want people to understand by the Anti Romeo Squad and what its punishment should be. Should it be grab your ears and do utak baitak? Is that what you're empowering the police to do? Be very clear. Is it calling their parents? Is it embarrassing them? What do you want these police officers to do so that everybody understands? Secondly, please, for heaven's sake, ban the sale of acid. If you're bringing in an Anti Romeo Squad to curb eve teasing because you believe, according to both of the representatives of the BJP on the show, that it eventually, eve teasing leads up to acid attacks. Ban the sale of acid. Make it contraband. We should not be able to buy it on the street corners for 25 rupees and use it to ruin somebody's life. It's a weapon. ban the sale of acid and show us that you really are serious about crime against women, and increase the number of female constabulary in the police force in Uttar Pradesh. In the meantime, though, it does seem like a lot of people vote for the Anti Romeo Squad. What we need to the women on the panel is two things: a very vigilant media and a very careful opposition that is keeping an eye on how these police officers and constables are doing their job, so we know when the thing is being misused and we can highlight it for the government. That is what we cannot let go of. And as the media, we promise you, we will keep a close eye on what's happening in Uttar Pradesh. Thanks for watching.